Hello. Yes, it's recording. Okay. Uh, I had a request to show a couple upgrades to someone else's video on how to make a Mobius strip. So let's go make a Mobius strip. It's pretty easy. Um, Default Cube is the other YouTuber's name that made the original video. So give him a shout out. In one of his previous videos, I posted on his chat board how to make a bevel. It's also in one of my YouTube videos as well. See, curve circle. What was it? Fillet curve. No, not fill curve. ET? No, LET. Yep, LET will do it. Poly, change poly count. So you got a curve there. If you change the radius to exactly 50%, you basically get the triangle inside the triangle. Let's see, join geometry. It's a way of getting a different, interesting shape. This has nothing to do with video, but you can see what the shape is that you get inside of it. That's because it has exactly 50% of the radius. But if you change your radius, you just to something a little bit smaller, you get a bevel to it. The more counts you get, the more bevels you get. So this is something I made a video on earlier, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. So continue on the Mobius strip, curve to mesh, profile curve, which will be, I'll use the same as his, quadrilateral, Bezier. No, let's use a quadrilateral. There we go. Rectangle, let's see, 0.2 and 0.3. Do another fillet curve. Let's see. Shade smooth. Let's turn it off. Let's make it a little bit thinner. Wow, that looks terrible. That's because this is too low. 0.05. 0.01. 0.03. There you go. Still get a bit of a bevel on it. And if you want smoother surface, resample 10, 20, 30. Resample this. Let's see. Let's go up to about 100. Alright, so what he did to, let's see, set curve tilt. Let's set it to pi. Oh yeah, I had to turn the ciclet off. That actually should be... Oh, based on the factor. Spline parameter, multiply pi. So it'll go from 0 to 1/2 rotation. Alright, so the bug that I'm specifically fixing is this right here. Alright, so after you set the tilt, you can curve cyclic, set spline cyclic, turn it off. Okay, so you get this. Now, see what this is, if you hold in Alt-Shift, you can see what, and click, you can see what a specific node looks like. You've got a gap. Now there's a couple ways to fix this. One is to extrude it. The other is just to move this point to there. since you've got 100 points, moving it from that distance, you're not going to cause any problems. So I'm just going to move it. Set position where factor equals 1, which is the very last point. I'm going to set the last point to the first point. So field at index is 0. I'll set it to a vector, and I'll set it to the position of the position of the point at index 0 of this line. Alright, so what that does is sets this last point to here. So it actually makes this curve a little bit longer, or actually makes this little point right here a little bit longer. So it does stretch out that edge. The better thing to do would be extrude, but when you do extrude, you may or may not have to flip faces, and I don't have to worry about that right now. Not really part of this tutorial. Alright, so you got it all stretched out, but you still have the problem of these points not lining up. So after you do the curve to mesh, you do set, what is it? Merge by distance. This will actually ruin the bevel. And you gotta find just the right value. It's gotta be bigger than 0.1, so, or smaller than 0.1, so 0.01, 0.02, 0.03. Actually, let's go back to 0.01. Is that... Here too. Still have a little bit of a gap there. Now let's turn the bevel count down. There we go. See? And it's all sewed up. Alright, the other thing that I would do that he did not do is I would make sure, like if you change this, they come apart. So what I would do is I would duplicate the multiply node, and I would multiply this number by pi. And I would set this, let's see, plus, I think n, go to group, change the value, change it to integer. That way, and set this here. They're always exactly, I say exactly, that should be always exactly 1/2 rotation. 1, 2, 3. I did type in pi, right? Pi? From 0 to 1. Yeah, I mean this point right here should be a multiple of 3.14159, which should be 2 full rotations. There should not be a misalignment. So there's probably something to do with a rounding issue. Alright, I got another solution. Instead of putting the set position there, we're going to put the set position here. And this time, let's see, how do I want to do this? Domain size, and we're going to grab this to get the number of points, and let's see, let's do index divide by, I haven't tried this, I know this should work. Let's divide the index by where the index is greater than point count minus subtract the number of points at the end, which I don't know what they are, but I'm going to take off the fillet curve for now. Oh, I think it's because it's doing it right at a... No, because with the fillet curve on, it actually goes around the point. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll leave that fillet curve on, because there's only 4 points. Alright. Then this, it goes into here. Point count minus 4. Alright. Because I know there's 4 points. Actually, I think it should be 5. Less than, greater than, or equal to. Alright, so it should be just, yep, those last 4 points. Alright, so I've now accessed the last 4 points, and I want to set them to these 4 points. Okay, so what Slicklet does is it sets them like, it sets this point to here. Alright, but if you've got a half rotation, it sets like this point to here. So I have to do the opposite. So the position, filled at index, no. What I'll do is I'll use index minus this one, and then add this one. That should give me the first 4 points. That gives me the index. So I think I need that filled at index back. position, value, plug that into position. Alright, let's see. Yep, 2. So that works in the case where this value is even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a switch, and let's see, vector, where group node, input, value, modulo is equal to, modulo is the remainder after you divide by some number. So if I divide any number, if I modulo any number by 2, it's either going to be 0 or 1. And if I modulo 2, and 0 is false, and 1 is quote-unquote true. So if I want this to happen while this is even, an even number, yeah, it should be right. Yep. And when I go odd, you know, it goes to this one. Alright, so what is this one? Well, I want to rotate the points by 90 degrees. So 0 would go to 2, and 2 would go to 0. So I just need to change the index let's see, how am I going to do this? Because I want index number 4 to be 2, and I want index number 2 to be 4. So one of them I got to add, the other one I have to subtract. So if I subtract out the entire number, I get 0. No, I get negative numbers. If I add 2, that'd give me negative 2 to 2. And if I take the negative numbers, alright, let's try that. Alright, let's add 2 instead. Duplicate this. I'm actually going to throw in another switch node here. Switch that to float. And where this number is less than 0, I want to use this number. No. When it's not less than 0, I want to use the number. When it is less than 0, I want to use this number. Plus 4. It's really strange that it doesn't quite line up. Ah, it's going inside, so that means I'm going a little bit too far. So these two are correct. I just have to get these 2 points. which need to be, this is 0 and 1. And this needs to be 2 and 3. I think the 2 and the 3 need to be reversed. So I think I have to multiply this number by -1, and then that would get me maybe the right number, and add 2. Subtract 2. Well, that gives me those two. This should not be setting anything to 0. Oh, I know what, because it's the index is less than 1. Since there isn't anything at index less than 1. So this sets point 3, the third point to the first point, and the fourth point sets the fourth point to the second point, because this is at 0. And add 4. It oh, that should be it. Anyway, you get the point. You just gotta get those last 2 points to line up. And you get a Mobius strip. If you can figure out how to get those 2 points to line up, it would be perfectly smooth. Then you just do a merge by distance, and it would merge those 2 together, or those 4. But anyway, that's how you get a Mobius strip. That's how you fix the endpoints, and etc. Well, it works on half of them. Anyway, there you go.